This is a rosary that was sent to me by a woman in Tinley Park, Illinois. It kind of looks like I'm building a new. It was sent to me as a rosary repair, but we exchanged a couple of emails before she sent it, which I always do because I want to make sure I'm capable of doing a repair before folks send me their rosary. And the main issue, at least with this one, was that I only work on chain rosaries. And this rosary was actually held together by wire. And it was broken. So the beads were coming off. It was actually missing one bead. So when we were exchanging emails, I just told her, well, one thing I've done, if I get a rosary that's not chain but made by something else, like in this case wire, I can completely disassemble it and just rebuild it as a chain rosary. And I told her it would still look fantastic. It's going to look a little different, but it'll look great. And she said, yeah, let's do that. So that's what I'm doing. I've already disassembled it, of course. You can kind of see all the loose beads here. Every once in a while I get these bags of eye pins, and every once in a while I get one that's not exactly flat. So I just flatten it. But anyway, so she sent me this rosary. My schedule really got messed up. At least my schedule for working on rosaries got messed up kind of over the holidays. Just had a lot of activities going on over the holidays, and if you know anything about me, I spend a lot of time on genealogy as well. So anyway, I think I've had this rosary here at my house now for about a month. So it's been I finished another rosary and shipped it out last week. And then this was next up on the list. So finally getting at this one after having it here for a while. I feel bad when I have them that long, but I'm only one guy and I've only got so much time. But nonetheless, once I start working on it, it's got my full attention here. So right now I'm taking each of these beads and putting in an eye pin. The beads are 8 millimeter in diameter. And these are silver plated steel eye pins. So they're kind of a cross between something that looks beautiful, if you ask me. They're kind of shiny, and strength. They're pretty strong. So this rosary, when it's all done, will hold up for many, many years to come. So let's see here. You can kind of look at my work here. You can see I've already put together a few of the decades. Here's the first decade, the second one. Oh, I got a little tangled up here. Here's the third one. And there's the fourth decade. So I'm just working on this next decade here. The fifth one, of course, the last one. So we'll put each eye pin in the bead. Fix the eye loop correctly. So what I do is I just put it in there, and then I fold this back So it's at a 90-degree angle. And then with the rounded nose pliers here, just kind of loop it back in to make an eye on the other end. I'm going to leave it open just a little so I can hook these together. So this should be 10. So let me hook these all up. The interesting thing with these is this is one of those rosaries where every bead is a different look. You know, when you look at it, you can see it's not like a single matching pattern. So I just love how all these beads kind of, even though they're different, they go very well together. And ultimately, once it's put together, there will not be another rosary like this anywhere in the world. There'll be similar rosaries, I suppose, but this one will be unique. So I'm just taking the open end of the eye right here. I take the bead with the closed end and put it in there, and then close up the loop. So anyway, as I was starting to say out earlier, this came into me kind of as a repair. Sometimes I do repairs that literally will take me, 10 minutes. They're just, a chain needs to be reconnected, or a bead replaced, or something like that. In this case, it was a little bit, much longer, because I ended up, like I said, I disassembled it, and I'm basically building a whole new rosary. So this is like a couple hours. But I'm not complaining. I love doing this stuff. So let me just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. All right, so there's the 5 decades. I got 3 more beads here. These are the first 3 Hail Mary beads, of course. They get mounted between the crucifix and the centerpiece. So when I put these on here, what I'm doing right now is straightening it out so that the 2 pins, the eyes on here, are perpendicular to each other. You can kind of see what I'm doing here. So this one is horizontal, this one's vertical. And here's another one that's bent a little bit. Let me straighten this one out. When I do that adjustment for every single bead, and make sure that the eyes on each eye pin are perpendicular to each other, like I'm doing right now. I'll do another one here, so you can see how this one's a little slightly crooked. I'm going to turn it there. What that does is the final product, when I hook everything together and I make the final connection for the rosary, the whole rosary lays nicely and there won't be any kinks. You don't want to have any kinks or anything like that. You don't want it to get tangled when in use. And this one's just a little bit crooked, you can tell. I'm going to straighten it out right here. There. And I'll hook these 3 together. There we go. All right. So I'm done with the eye pins. Oh wait, nope. I gotta find. So here's what I got to with this one. These beads, these are the Our Father beads. So these are, as you can tell, much larger. I believe they're 10 millimeters. And the neat thing with these is each bead has a cap on either side. So I've got to find my eye pins that I've been using here. These fit 8mm beads. I gotta pull up my box and get some other eye pins here. I'm gonna pause the video. Alright, I've got some eye pins. Well, this one's bent a little bit here. Let me straighten this one out. So the way these work then is I got to put an eye cap on here, or an end cap I should say, and then the bead, and then another end cap. These are a little more, I shouldn't say use the word difficult, because they're not all that bad, but they are a little bit trickier to deal with than the other ones. Because I got to get a full 90-degree angle here. There we go. And this one's just a little bit too long, so that's, which is fine. I can always clip these a little shorter. Alright, so just like the other ones, I'm doing the same thing. Close, bringing that loop almost all the way closed. Hold it in here. It's pretty close. I'm just making sure it's exactly perpendicular here. There, and there's an Our Father bead. Another one that's put these on in order. Make the loop. I gotta cut this one a little shorter here. Alright, there's two. And of course there are 6 Our Father beads. So I got 4 more here. Cut this one to length. Sometimes making these things is like making anything, where you're kind of making a mess while you're doing it, but then the final result looks pretty good. So these kind of, sometimes they look a little crooked, but once I bend the eye pin just perfectly, and then ultimately connect the chain on it to connect it with the other beads, it does look great actually. Alright, that's 5 of them, 1 more to go here. Again, looks like I have an extra eye pin. I think that's 5, right? one of the caveats of converting a rosary, like from a wire rosary like it was before, to chain is, in this case, there were these tiny, tiny little beads in between each bead. I don't know if you can see them in here. Tiny little beads on there that were just, of course, on the wire. And because of the structure of these eye pins, I can't use those beads. So that's a slight difference in the rosary as it was, and then the final result is going to look like. All right, so that's done. Let me got some chain here. A silver-plated steel chain. Now, the trick with this conversion too is matching. So the jewelry here on there, the jewelry, when I say jewelry, I mean like the centerpiece and the crucifix. They're like a bronze color. The only eye pins I work with are silver-plated steel, so it's kind of a catch-22 or kind of a gotcha situation where, I don't really. I'll sometimes work with bronze-colored chain when I do repairs, but the eye pins, all I have is silver-plated steel. That's all I use. So since I've got all silver-plated steel in all these, I'm doing the same color chain, even though I know it's not the same as these, but I think the contrast actually looks nice. I mean, I like it. So now I need lengths of chain here, and specifically I need 14 lengths of chain. This is the chain that's going to go in between the decades. So I got to clip off 14 of these. 2, 3. There's 1. 2. 3. All right, so I've got 14 small pieces of chain here. Each one has 4 links in it, except this one over here has 5 links. And I can show that to you at the end, I suppose, why we do that. So now I just kind of grab one of these decades. Connect a small length of chain on there. All right. And then now we'll go to the other end of the decade. I got to open this one up. All right. Take one of my Our Father beads here. Well, let's see here. There we go. Flip over to the other side. So these are 2 decades connected together now. You kind of see what that ends up starting to look like here. It works really well. The end caps, you don't want them coming too far off of. I mean, the end caps are separate, of course, from the beads. They're not glued or anything, which is neat. But you also don't want them coming off too much, and it looks like it's working pretty well. So you can kind of get a sense for what this is going to look like as we continue on here. We'll do another one. Whoops. There we go. And get another. Oh. Just saw our Father bead that doesn't have an end cap or an eye pin in it. I'll have to take care of that. Go. So this is kind of the process now to assemble all these pieces together. So here's 3 decades connected to each other with 2 of the Our Father beads in there. So you're kind of getting a sense of what this is going to look like here. So I'm getting down to the end of the 5 decades here anyway. And there's kind of a little trick. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it on camera, but I think you'll get it, though. I think you'll understand. All right, I gotta get 4 jump rings. There's 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so this chain is all, the chain part with the 5 decades is, that part is done. You can kind of see, holding it up here. So what I'm going to do is connect it now to these 2 loops on the centerpiece. That's a beautiful, it's a miraculous metal image in the middle. And the back is the M with the miraculous metal and the 12 stars. Right out of Scripture. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is grab an eye pin. And I never pull these pieces apart. I kind of twist them sideways like this to open them. So we'll put this in here. Oh, come on. Let's just see here. There we go. And then kind of twist it back sideways still. And that helps ensure that these 2 ends of the eye pin, of the jump ring, stay close together. Now this one here, if I just connect it like this, it's possible that there's kinks. So you're not going to see this on the camera. But I'm lifting it up and I'm letting the whole chain hang in front of me and making sure all the kinks are out here before I make the last connection. Like I said, I know you can't see it, but I'm kind of letting it pull naturally here. Get another jump ring. But all I did was hold one end of the chain, let the rest of the chain just fall naturally downward. Let all the kinks get out. And then I'm going to put this one in without twisting it at all. There we go. And put this one back. All right, we're getting there. So here's the centerpiece and the chain. All right, I'm going to set this just to the side a little bit here. I'm going to assemble this piece. So we got one of the Our Father beads here. Sometimes this part can be maybe be a little bit boring to watch, I suppose, but what am I doing here? There we go. Sorry. All right. Put this on there. There we go. All right, and let's see here. Another piece of chain goes in here. And of course on there goes an Our Father bead. I love the way these Our Father beads are turning out with these end caps on them. It's kind of neat. All right, put a piece of chain on here. Now I've kept this other little piece of chain over here just kind of off to the side by itself because that one has 5 chain links in it instead of 4. Tiny little difference, but it matters because what happens is, let's just say you were to take this rosary and hang it somewhere. Hang it on the wall, hang it from a rearview mirror. Oops, let me grab this thing here. That extra little link of chain will help to make sure that the crucifix actually lays flat and faces you as you're looking at the rosary, so you can see the crucifix as you would expect. So here I'm going to do another jump ring here. There we go. Put the crucifix on there. Alright, so I've got got this end piece here, and I should have one more jump ring. Maybe I only got 3 out. I thought I got 4. Yeah, here we go. Here it is. One more jump ring. I do all this work on it. This is like a towel right in front of me. Nothing fancy, just a towel. And that way, if I drop something, it just kind of stops in its tracks instead of a hard surface where, especially a bead, you drop a bead, of course, on a hard surface, it rolls and falls off onto the floor. These jump rings are just ever so slightly a little bit thicker than the eye pins. So they're a little bit, just a tad harder to get, there we go, to get attached on there. So this is attached in there, and then this part goes on the 3rd ring on the centerpiece. And just like that, it's together. Now as I hold it up, I'm holding it up with the centerpiece facing me, and this crucifix is backwards. So I get a 50-50 shot of getting it right, which is no big deal because I'll just flip it right now. I always assemble the whole thing and just see how it lays. And then if the crucifix is backwards, well then we just flip it. So let me pull this out, crucifix off, flip it, and put it back. There we go. Little details, tiny little details matter, you know. There we go, all done. So now if I hold this out, the crucifix kind of lays flat. So I'm going to move my pliers, lay this out here. And there we go. Completed rosary. Send this back out to Tinley Park, Illinois. See, what's today? Monday. Should be able to get it shipped out by Wednesday. I got stuff going on tomorrow, but I'll get this back out to them, and good as new. And the most important thing is there'll be more Hail Marys being prayed on these beads for many years to come.